stop scrolling, take a breath. Because what's about to happen during the blood moon of 2026 is not random, and it's not small. This isn't just a lunar eclipse. It's not just a red glow in the night sky that people post on Instagram and forget about the next morning. This is a 72-hour spiritual pressure point, a reset window, a truth-revealing force that doesn't knock politely. It exposes. And during these 72 hours, something shocking happens. Masks slip. Energy shifts. People you trusted start acting different. Conversations feel strange. Silence feels louder than words. Hidden enemies don't attack directly. They reveal themselves through behavior. Fake friends get uncomfortable around your growth. Secret jealousy turns into subtle tension. Silent spiritual attacks lose their disguise. And here's the part most people won't tell you. This blood moon doesn't activate everyone. It activates the chosen, the ones who are leveling up, the ones breaking generational patterns, the ones stepping into higher alignment. If you've felt sudden emotional waves lately, if your dreams have been intense or symbolic, if certain people feel off without explanation, if your energy feels drained around specific individuals, that's not coincidence. That's preparation. Because during this blood moon, the universe removes illusions, and once illusions are gone, truth gets loud, so don't click away. Because what I'm about to reveal could protect your peace, your energy, and your next level. And once you understand what's happening, you'll never see this red moon the same way again. A blood moon happens during a total lunar eclipse, when the Earth moves directly between the Sun and the Moon, casting a shadow that filters the sunlight and turns the moon a deep, haunting red. Scientifically, it's called Rayleigh scattering. Spiritually, it's called revelation. Because red is not random. Red is the color of warning. Red is the color of karma. Red is the color of truth breaking through illusion. Red represents exposure. Red represents justice. Red represents energy that can no longer hide. And when the moon, the ruler of emotions, intuition, subconscious patterns, turns red, emotional truth surfaces. The things you felt but couldn't prove, the vibes you ignored, the subtle tension you brushed off, it all comes forward. In ancient civilizations, blood moons were never taken lightly. The Maya civilization tracked eclipses with extreme precision, believing they marked destabilizing shifts in leadership and hidden conflicts rising to the surface. In ancient Rome, a red moon was seen as a warning, a sign that power structures were about to change. Even in biblical prophecy, specifically in the book of Joel, the moon turning to blood symbolized a dramatic turning point, a moment when what was hidden would no longer stay hidden. Across cultures that never communicated with each other, one message remained consistent. When the moon turns red, something concealed gets revealed. And here's where 2026 becomes different. This isn't just another eclipse on a calendar. Astrologically, this blood moon activates deep karmic nodes, meaning it doesn't just stir emotion, it resolves it. It opens what I call a 72-hour karmic window, 24 hours before, the moment of totality, and 24 hours after, 72 hours where the energetic veil gets thinner, and when the veil gets thin, illusions don't survive. Masks fall off, not dramatically, not theatrically, but subtly. A tone changes, a text feels colder, an invitation stops coming, a compliment sounds forced, and suddenly you see it. Secrets leak. Not because someone confesses, but because behavior betrays intention. Hidden motives rise to the surface. You notice who celebrates you loudly, and who goes silent when you win. You notice who checks in consistently, and who only appears when they need something. You notice who feels inspired by your growth, and who feels threatened by it. This eclipse doesn't create enemies, it reveals alignment, and sometimes the person who isn't aligned with you is someone you've known for years. That's why this blood moon feels intense, because it's not about drama, it's about clarity, and clarity can feel shocking. You might realize someone was competing with you quietly. You might see that someone's support had conditions attached. You might recognize that certain connections were built on convenience, not loyalty. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's the power of a karmic window. Energy that has been building for months, sometimes years, reaches a tipping point. The universe doesn't whisper anymore. It shows you, clear, direct, undeniable. You will see who is genuinely for you, the ones who stay steady, the ones who don't flinch at your evolution, the ones who don't feel intimidated by your light. And you will see who was never truly on your side, not through confrontation, through contrast. Because during a blood moon, contrast sharpens, light feels brighter, dark feels heavier, truth feels obvious. And the most important part, this isn't punishment, it's protection. Because you cannot step into your next level while dragging invisible opposition with you. This 72-hour window acts like a filter. What's real stays, what's fake destabilizes. So if something feels exposed during this time, if a relationship shifts, if a truth hits harder than expected, don't panic, observe. Because the red moon isn't here to scare you, it's here to clear you. And once the shadow passes, only what's aligned with your future will remain. Here's what most people don't know. The blood moon isn't just a moment, it's a window. The energy begins 24 hours before the eclipse. It intensifies during totality, and it lingers 24 hours after the shadow passes. That's 72 hours. 72 hours where emotional gravity shifts, where subconscious truths rise, where karmic ties either strengthen or snap. And you won't need astrology apps to feel it. You'll feel it in your body. During this period, toxic attachments start weakening. Illusions quietly dissolve. Emotional cords begin to detach. Spiritual clarity sharpens. Conversations feel different. Rooms feel different. Certain people feel heavier. You may suddenly lose interest in someone you were once attached to. No fight, no drama. Just a calm realization. This isn't aligned anymore. You might see through manipulation that used to confuse you. The guilt tactics, the subtle control, the emotional push and pull. Suddenly it's obvious. And when something becomes obvious, it loses its power over you. You may feel detached from drama that once triggered you. Instead of reacting, you observe. Instead of chasing, you withdraw. Instead of explaining, you conserve your energy. That's not coldness, that's elevation. Or, and this is important, you might feel exposed yourself. Old habits surface. Past mistakes revisit your mind. Regrets try to speak. Because the reset isn't just external, it's internal. This isn't about pointing fingers, it's about recalibration. The 72-hour window acts like a spiritual audit. What drains you gets highlighted. What empowers you feels amplified. What's fake feels unstable. And here's the truth. This isn't revenge energy. It's alignment energy. Revenge wants someone else to suffer. Alignment simply removes what doesn't fit. The universe isn't attacking your relationships. It's testing their foundation. If something collapses during this blood moon, it was already cracked. If someone distances themselves, they were already drifting. If you feel detached, your soul was already preparing to outgrow that space. Elevation requires separation, and separation often feels uncomfortable. You may feel disappointed. You may feel nostalgic. You may question yourself for a moment. But don't confuse discomfort with destruction. Sometimes pain is proof that something is being released. The universe will remove what blocks your next level, not violently, but decisively. Because you cannot rise while holding on to dead weight. And yes, it may sting. Because even unhealthy attachments can feel familiar, but freedom feels lighter than familiarity ever did. When the 72 hours close, you won't just feel different. You'll feel clearer, sharper, less entangled, more grounded in your intuition. And the people who remain in your space, they'll feel solid, stable, real. Because anything built on illusion cannot survive a red moon. But what's built on truth becomes stronger. This reset isn't here to break you, it's here to refine you. And what leaves during this window was never meant to follow you into your next chapter. Pay attention here, because this is where most people miss the signs. Your hidden enemies won't show up wearing a villain costume. They won't announce themselves. They won't openly oppose you. They won't say, "I'm against you." Hidden opposition hides behind familiarity. It might be a coworker who smiles a little too hard, but subtly downplays your ideas in meetings. A friend who listens to your goals, but never truly celebrates your wins. A partner who says they support you, but competes with your growth in quiet ways. Even a family member projecting their insecurities onto your ambition. The key word here is subtle, because jealousy rarely screams. It simmers, and during a blood moon, simmering energy destabilizes. jealous energy becomes unstable, and unstable energy makes mistakes. That's when the mask slips. They might slip up in conversation, making a comment that sounds supportive, but carries a sting. They might reveal information they were never supposed to know, proving they've been watching you more closely than you realized. They might start unnecessary arguments right when something good happens in your life. Notice the timing. Or they may suddenly distance themselves, not because you did something wrong, but because your growth makes them uncomfortable. Growth exposes insecurity in others, and when the moon turns red, emotional pressure rises. People who secretly compete with you can't regulate that pressure, so it leaks. Through sarcasm, through passive aggression, through silence, through cold energy. That's why during this eclipse you must watch behavior, not words. Words are crafted. Behavior is revealed. Someone can say, "I'm happy for you," while their actions say, "I feel threatened." Someone can say, "You're overthinking," while their inconsistency created the confusion. The blood moon doesn't create enemies. It exposes what was already misaligned. It turns the emotional lights on. And when the lights come on, you see who claps for you in private, and who only tolerated you when you were smaller. Don't confront immediately. Observe. Patterns don't lie. Energy doesn't lie. And once you see it clearly, you won't need revenge, because clarity is power, and power doesn't argue. It adjusts and moves forward. Not everyone will feel this blood moon deeply. Some people will scroll past it. Some will treat it like just another eclipse. Some won't notice anything at all. But if you're activated in this cycle, you won't be able to ignore it, because this doesn't hit the surface. It hits the soul. If you're one of the chosen in this karmic window, you'll start noticing very specific signs. First, intense dreams. Not random dreams, but symbolic ones. Dreams about betrayal. Dreams about past friends. Dreams about ex-partners. Dreams about people you haven't thought about in years. Your subconscious is clearing unresolved chords. When the moon rules emotion and memory and it turns red, it pulls buried energy to the surface. Pay attention to who shows up in your dreams. There's a message there. Second, random urges to clean, delete, declutter. You might suddenly want to clear your phone, delete old conversations, unfollow certain people, rearrange your room, throw away things tied to old memories. That's not boredom. That's energetic shedding. Your external world starts reflecting your internal reset. Third, strong gut instincts about someone. No proof, no confrontation, just a deep inner knowing. Something feels off, or suddenly something feels right. The confusion disappears and clarity replaces it. Which leads to the fourth sign, truth downloads. Moments where it just clicks. No overthinking, no analysis, just instant awareness. You might be driving, or in the shower, or lying in bed, and suddenly you think, that's why that never felt right. That's why that connection felt forced. That's why I felt drained around them. That's awakening. That's your intuition getting louder than your fear. So if this is happening to you, if your dreams are intense, if you're detaching naturally, if your instincts feel sharper than ever, type reset in the comments, because your soul already knows what's happening. You're not overreacting, you're not imagining things, you're not crazy, you're awakening. And once you awaken, you can never go back to being unconscious around people who drain you. This blood moon isn't activating everyone, it's activating the ones ready to rise. Let's be honest, this didn't start with the blood moon, it started with you. You've been leveling up, quietly. No announcements, no validation, no applause, just internal growth. You became mentally stronger, you stopped reacting to everything, you became more disciplined with your time, more protective of your energy, more detached from chaos. You started choosing peace over proving points, silence over unnecessary explanations, growth over comfort. And here's the part most people don't talk about. When you evolve, not everyone around you does. Some people stay in old patterns, old mindsets, old insecurities, and growth creates distance, not intentionally, but naturally. Because when your frequency shifts, the dynamic changes. Conversations feel different, jokes don't hit the same, drama feels exhausting instead of entertaining, and the people who were comfortable with the old version of you, they feel the shift. Some get inspired, others get insecure. This blood moon isn't randomly separating you from people. It's highlighting energetic mismatches that were already forming. It's forcing what was slowly drifting to fully separate. Not because you're better, not because you're superior, but because you're evolving, and evolution requires space. You can't become the next version of yourself while constantly shrinking to make others comfortable. You can't expand while carrying people who resist your expansion. This eclipse acts like a magnifying glass. If someone supports your growth, that bond strengthens. If someone secretly resents your growth, tension increases, and sometimes that tension leads to distance. But distance isn't always loss. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's preparation. Sometimes it's the universe saying, you can't take everyone where you're going. And that's okay, because not everyone is meant to evolve with you. Some people are chapters, not the whole story. Some connections are lessons, not lifelines. The blood moon simply accelerates what was already unfolding. It removes the slow fade. It brings clarity faster. And even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels lonely for a moment, remember this. You asked for growth. You prayed for elevation. You worked for expansion. And expansion requires alignment. This had to happen, not to punish you, but to position you for the next level of your life. Now let's talk about the part nobody glamorizes. Exposure hurts. Clarity is powerful, but it can sting. When you finally see someone clearly, when the illusion fades, there's a moment of shock. You might feel disappointed, not just in them, but in yourself. You might think, how did I not see this? How long was this happening? Was I really that naive? And that voice can be harsh. It can make you feel stupid for trusting, stupid for giving chances, stupid for believing words over patterns. But listen carefully. You were never blind. You were kind. You gave people the benefit of the doubt. You chose empathy over suspicion. You chose patience over paranoia. That's not weakness. That's emotional maturity. Kindness becomes dangerous only when it ignores repeated disrespect. But most of the time, you weren't ignoring red flags. You were hoping for growth. You were believing in potential. And there's nothing shameful about that. The pain you feel during this blood moon isn't embarrassment. It's detachment. It's the emotional cord stretching before it finally snaps. And snapping doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like acceptance, quiet acceptance, a deep breath, a soft realization that says, I deserve better than this. That moment hurts because it closes a chapter. And closing chapters requires grieving what you thought something was, not what it actually was. You're not grieving the person. You're grieving the illusion, the version of them you hoped was real. But here's the truth. The eclipse doesn't shame you for trusting. It protects you from continuing to trust blindly. It doesn't expose others to humiliate you. It exposes them to free you. And freedom can feel lonely for a second. Because when the fog clears, you stand alone in clarity. But clarity is power. And power feels uncomfortable before it feels strong. So if you feel that ache, if you feel that mix of sadness and relief, that's not weakness leaving you. That's attachment leaving you. And once it's gone, you won't feel smaller, you'll feel lighter. Because the red moon didn't come to break your heart. It came to remove what was quietly breaking it. Now that you understand what's happening, let's talk protection. Because awareness without boundaries is dangerous. During these 72 hours, your energy is more sensitive, your intuition is sharper, your emotional field is open, so you have to move differently. First, avoid unnecessary arguments. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Not every provocation deserves your energy. Remember, unstable energy will try to pull you into reaction. Don't take the bait. Silence is power during this window. Second, don't overshare personal plans. If you're building something, if you're planning a move, if you're stepping into a new level, keep it sacred. Not everyone clapping for you privately wants you to win publicly. During a blood moon, jealousy can amplify. Protect your vision by keeping it quiet. Move in silence. Announce results. Third, limit social media. Energy transfers through attention. Scrolling exposes you to comparison, negativity, hidden competition. For 72 hours, reduce the noise. The more external voices you hear, the harder it is to hear your own intuition. Fourth, drink more water. This isn't just physical advice. Emotional detox is real. When you release attachments, your body processes stress. Hydration supports clarity. It grounds your nervous system. It stabilizes your mood. Simple actions matter. Fifth, journal what you feel. Don't suppress it. If anger comes up, write it. If sadness surfaces, release it. If clarity hits, capture it. Writing turns emotional chaos into structured understanding, and the most important rule of all, trust your intuition immediately. Don't wait for proof. Don't wait for validation. Don't wait for someone else to confirm what you already feel. If something feels off, it is off. Your intuition speaks before evidence appears, and during this 72-hour window, it's louder than ever. You don't need confrontation. You don't need drama. You need discernment. Protect your peace like it's priceless. Because during a blood moon, your energy is being recalibrated, and what you protect now determines what stays with you after the shadow passes. After the 72 hours pass, something shifts. Not loudly, not dramatically, but undeniably. You'll feel lighter, like mental noise has been turned down, calmer, like you're no longer trying to force clarity. You have it. More focused, because once confusion leaves, concentration returns. The people who drained you, either gone or emotionally irrelevant. The situations that kept you second-guessing yourself, suddenly clear. No more overanalyzing texts, no more replaying conversations, no more wondering where you stand. You know, and knowing is peace. But here's the powerful part. Nature hates empty space. So when something misaligned leaves, something aligned enters. That's alignment. New ideas feel stronger, new connections feel cleaner, new opportunities appear almost effortlessly, because when hidden enemies are exposed, they stop blocking your path energetically. And when blockages move, momentum begins. This is the reward no one talks about. Clarity creates acceleration. And once the reset is complete, you're not just lighter, you're positioned, ready, and finally aligned with what's truly meant for you. The blood moon of 2026 is not here to scare you. It's here to purify you. Purification doesn't always feel gentle. Sometimes it feels like loss. Sometimes it feels like shock. Sometimes it feels like silence where noise used to be. But silence is clarity. If someone exits your life during this time, let them. Don't chase. Don't convince. Don't shrink to keep them. What leaves during an eclipse was never stable to begin with. If truth shocks you, receive it. Even if it bruises your ego, even if it forces you to see things differently, because the universe is not removing blessings. It's removing blockages. It's clearing space for the version of you that no longer tolerates confusion, half-loyalty, or hidden competition. And if you made it to this moment in this video, that's not accidental. You're not ordinary. You're not unaware. You're stepping into a higher timeline, one built on discernment, boundaries, and power. So comment, I accept the reset. Claim it. Anchor it. Because the red moon doesn't destroy, it reveals. And once you see the truth clearly, you can never be manipulated again.